I'm Tim Brady.
I'm Christine Augustin.
I'm Kevin Ford.
And you're entering a holiday
Gone Good.
You get 2 holidays, 2 holly jolly days. You get to have them both, you lucky boy. Christmas and Hanukkah, Baruch Atah and Palala. You'll wind up with twice as many toys.
Well, ho, ho. Oh, what the ho, you're worth another one. Ho, ho, ho! My name's Steve, and you've just replied yes to our Evite to join us right now, right here, for our 5th annual Holidays Gone Good. 5 annual Holidays Gone Good. That's all the singing I'm going to do today. We are firing up the menorah and lighting up the tree to bring you this gift of good. And we kicked it all off with a taste of 2 holidays from the original musical, The Paisley Sisters Christmas Special. It's become our unofficial and still kind of official Holidays Gone Good theme song. And it was written by my brother and 2 of his friends, so we don't have to pay any royalties. Today, I've invited on 3 good guests, each with their own individual holiday good to share. So if you've got your eggnog and your latkes on the ready, let's get this party started. First up, here comes my longtime friend and former coworker from more than one job, Tim Brady, with some holly and jolly to share. Tim Brady is here. Tim, we got to start with the most obvious place. Where did we meet and when?
We met at the WB Network in 1999, I believe.
Yeah, 98, somewhere around there. When did you start there?
I moved over from NBC in 1999.
Oh, okay. Oh my God, I was there just a hair before you because I got there right before Christmas. I got there the right after Thanksgiving weekend of 1998.
Yeah, I was in the summer. I remember the first thing I worked on was some sort of EPK type thing for the Iron Giant movie, which can tie in somehow.
My first day I got there on a Wednesday, I remember. I'd never cut a promo before in my life. I was a writer, a playwright. I had written a couple small things over at DreamWorks on an animated show there. And I was told at 10 o'clock in the morning, you have an air spot that's due at 1 p.m. Wait, gets better. Michelle Wallens, who hopefully is listening, I'm going to use her first and last name, was the person who got me in there. I was supposed to report there. Well, guess what? She called in sick that day. I didn't know anything. I have never flop sweated quite that way for 2.5 hours. I think I did 38, 39 cuts. I can't even describe what happened. I was just running tape back and forth to David's office. And he'd be like, nope, try this. Nope, try that. Nope. And I kept saying, I've never done this before. I've never done this before. I've never done this before. I also want to say that I worked at Bravo and you followed me over to Bravo. And I think I may have recommended you.
Yes, you got me into Bravo for freelance.
And what I loved over there, everybody listening, is that Tim is a married man with 3 beautiful sons. One named Charlie.
Yes.
The other 2 are Biff and Jonas. What are their names?
Frank, Jack, and Charlie.
Yeah, I knew Charlie. Damn it. I knew Jack. I knew that.
It's okay.
Poor Tim. Tim gets handed a Queer Eye for the Straight Guy presentation.
Queer Eye was part of it. There was also a reality dating show where the contestant was only pretending to be gay.
Boy Meets Boy.
Boy Meets Boy. In there, I think he had half gay suit, half straight suitors.
I was like, oh, Tim.
Yeah. I never felt more Midwestern, boring, middle of the road.
You told me one thing, which I may take out. I'll take out of this if you want me to. But you told me one day, you're like, I went home to Kathy and I was like, let's go.
We are having sex.
Because I got to make sure that everything's okay.
Right. I need to perform a heterosexual act.
I I need your permission to keep that in because that's hilarious.
Sure.
Okay. Well, we've known each other a long time, and you are here for a holiday gone good. So I'm turning the floor over to you. I put out the message and said, who has holiday stories? You said, I have one. And so I turn it over to you, fire away, and then I'll have some questions.
All right. I grew up in a little town called Chagrin Falls, which when you live there, you don't realize how strange the name is because you just think it's named after the waterfalls. There's 3 little waterfalls in town under these bridges. It's literally a Hallmark Christmas movie town. There's a triangle with a gazebo. You know, the town square is a triangle, and there's a gazebo in the middle. They have these waterfalls. It's beautifully decorated at Christmas. In fact, one of my first jobs when I was like 13 or 14, I worked at a Hallmark store. And one of my favorite Christmas memories is seeing carolers out on the triangle as I was shoveling the sidewalk. It was like being in a movie. And of course, since it was the 70s, we didn't know about Hallmark movies yet. But in like 1977, they filmed a made-for-TV movie in this town because it resembled New England so much. And this Christmas movie I watch every year now. It's on YouTube. It's called Gathering with Ed Asner. It's fantastic. So I have a pretty high standard for Christmas decorations and the Christmas mood. When I was 6, my oldest brother, Ed, was 11. He decided he did not believe in Santa Claus anymore. So he was going to sleep on the couch near the fireplace to prove that Santa wasn't real. And my father, sensing the emergency, hired a Santa Claus lookalike and a little person, this guy named Little John Rinaldi, who my dad worked at a TV station. And Little John was an on-air personality. They had like a late night movie show where they did skits in between, the breaks. And he was a character. So he was kind of known in town, but we were little, so he wasn't known yet. So there was, on Christmas Eve, we all wake up to Santa Claus and an elf in our living room to pass out our Christmas presents. An elf with sideburns and a mustache, but an elf. And Santa Claus. My brother, it's unreal. And this is the year that I got Lincoln Logs. I remember that much too. And I still have these old pictures where it doesn't seem real. And I remember the next day I went to my best friend's house and I was telling his whole family, he had 6 sisters. I said, Santa Claus was at my house last night. They said, what did he look like? Santa Claus. What did he look like? The whole deal. The beard, the red suit, the white hair, all of it. Glorious. So that's my too short Christmas story for your podcast.
Okay, a couple questions to start. Was this guy always named Little John, or was it because he was little? Was there a Big John? Do we know?
No, there was a show. The show was originally called Big Chuck and Houlihan, or Houlihan and Big Chuck. So Houlihan eventually left, and he was replaced by Little John. Yes, I always knew him as Little John. It was the Big Chuck and Little John show, and he, to this day, is a media figure in Cleveland. I don't think he's still on the air anymore, but he could this is a odd tangent. One year, the coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers called the quarterback of the Cleveland Browns a midget.
Oh boy.
So Channel 32 in Cleveland sent Little John to the next press conference for this guy and sat him in the front row to ask questions. So Little John lives on. He's still a figure in Cleveland, and he was an elf in my living room on Christmas.
Follow-up question. Can we now get a Dateline episode of what happened to Houlihan?
He may have moved out here. There was a small pipeline of Ernie Anderson.
Sure.
He was in that movie hosting game in Cleveland, and he moved out here, and Tim Conway was on his show, and Tim Conway moved out here. Tim Conway was also had a house in Chagrin Falls.
Wow. And you, Tim Brady, moved out here. Big talent, big name.
Yeah. Yeah. We would drive by his house every day. Like, that's the house that Tim Conway lives in. And he wore a Chagrin Falls sweatshirt on McHale's Navy, and that was a big deal in Chagrin Falls.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is your dad still with us?
No.
Okay. So we can't verify anything with him. Is your mom still with us?
Yes.
All right. We might need to get your mom on the phone here. Was this a plan that he discussed with your mother? Do you know? Was there like a whole,
Yeah.
like, we got to save Christmas?
I don't know if it was that extreme to save Christmas. Knowing my dad's personality, it may have been more like I'll show him. He wants to ruin this for all his little brothers and his sister. That's not going to happen on my watch. And there are vague memories of, not what I remember, but in the retelling of the story, we talk about this. It was snowing that night, and there was a mysterious car that came down our street. And, Santa Claus and Little John were in a Mazda. Like, I have no memory of the car, but that's a great visual of a tiny Mazda coming down the hill in front of our house to come play Santa Claus.
It's just amazing, too, because it's one of those family stories that over the years, like you just said, can get flourishes and ribbons and bows added to it, right?
Right.
And does it get brought up? Is there a toast to Lil Jon, is what I'm saying? Is there like, to Dad each year, remember that time?
Surprisingly, I don't think we bring it up that often. During COVID, I took it upon myself to scan all of our family photos from growing up, and I will send out the pictures from Santa in our living room, because somebody had the wherewithal to start taking pictures because Santa Claus was in our house.
It is kind of amazing, though. I mean, it really is kind of amazing. And it's one of those like legend stories that a lot of people roll their eyes at. And then you're like, no, it really did happen.
Yeah. And in remembering my father, I'm like, this is the length he was willing to go to not ruin Christmas for his younger siblings. My brother was not going to ruin Christmas for us. My dad was going to see to it. And think about, my dad tells the story that this guy lived the life of a Santa Claus impersonator, and his wife answered the phone as Mrs. Claus if you called their house. And he also worked at the TV station that my dad worked at. And by this time, I think my dad had risen to like, he went from sales manager to general manager to station manager. I don't know where he was on that ladder at the time, but he had the pull, when I was 6 years old, to get these two people to come out on Christmas Eve. I've never asked him how much what he paid these guys. I know he had to have paid them, but these guys came out on Christmas Eve to the Cleveland suburbs on a snowy night to pull this off.
We now invite my new friend, Christine Augustin, to bring us her own merry and brightness. Christine and I met, well, I won't spoil it. I'll let her tell you. And we're going to start this in the most important way possible, because we need to tell everyone not just how we met, but where we met. Christine, tell everyone where we met.
So we met through a mutual friend
Who cares about that?
doing some delicious wine tasting.
Yes! I almost cut you off. I sort of cut you off to say, who cares about the mutual friend? Let's talk about meeting over wine tasting.
Yes, it was delicious and such a fun place, which of course, Epiphany. It was called Epiphany, right?
Yeah.
It was really delicious and fun, and there were dogs and animals around and lots of people, and it was super festive and delicious. That's how I remember it.
There ain't nothing better than meeting people for the first time around wine and dogs. And we went at like 4 or 4:30, if I remember right. And like the crowds had left. It was like the day crowd had left, but the happy hour crowd hadn't gotten there yet. We kind of had the place almost to ourselves.
So it was really fun.
All right, so it's Christmas time, and I'm handing the reins over to you. We are looking for a good Christmas story of any kind. The floor is yours.
I want to share a few little tiny Christmas stories because my Christmases growing up were so magical. And it's because my mom really just, she knew how to do Christmas. And I grew up in a small town back in Pennsylvania. We didn't have very much, we were very limited income family, but at Christmas, my mom kind of didn't care. And she just gave us these beautiful, magical Christmases. We would go out and get our Christmas tree either the night before Christmas Eve or on Christmas Eve itself because they were discounted by then. So we would always go out and get our Christmas tree at the very last minute and then decorate it on Christmas Eve. And, at the time when I was a kid, that was it was so much fun because it was, the night before Christmas and we're decorating the Christmas tree. As an adult, now I want the tree up the whole month of December, so I don't do that. But as a kid, that was really cool. And it was, we had to do it, but it made it really super magical. It was my sister and I, and she would get us so many presents. Even if it was like little tiny things, we always would come out Christmas morning to this like plethora of like boxes, everything wrapped. I mean, it was incredible. We have some pictures of those Christmases, and it was so amazing what she could do with limited resources, but she needed to make it so special. And it really was. She would get the cans of snow, cans of snow, I guess is what it is. And we would make 4-paneled windows on our front window. Like they were big windows, but we would make them into this little paneled with the fake snow. And she loved tinsel. Oh my gosh, we had tinsel on everything. We would hang up garland as well, but tinsel was everywhere. We would be getting rid of tinsel the entire year, every year for my whole childhood because we used so much tinsel hanging everywhere. So yeah, those are like some of my fun Christmas memories. I also remember always getting my dad gifts from Avon, which sounds funny, but they always made these like cute little dad things. It would be like a piece of glass that said dad, and you would put pictures in it from the year. So yeah, my dad got a lot of Avon gifts when I was a kid. I don't know. Those are some of my fun memories.
Now, I want to tell everybody else there's another reason why I have you on the show here is because you are coming up on the 23rd annual Conscious Life Expo, which you are running proudly. Tell everybody a little bit about it. What do we need to know?
I am one of the producers with Conscious Life Expo, and it is the largest sort of spiritual health, healing, alternative everything expos in the United States. It's the biggest, maybe in the world. We're not sure. And the 2025 will be our 23rd year, and it takes place every year in the same place at the LAX Hilton Hotel in Los Angeles. And it's an absolutely magical weekend of transformation. The February 2025 dates are 7 through 9 for the weekend, and then we do a post-conference on the 10th. And it's magical and transformational and super fun.
How much do we need this right now, especially everything this country has been through politically in the last couple of weeks? How much do we need to just really come back to our souls and be open to energy?
I think the whole world needs healing right now, just from everything that's going on all over the planet. And I think that, this is one weekend out of the year, but this is one weekend where you can show up, feel the energy of all of these, healers and speakers and exhibitors we have, and not only make connections that you can use in the future, but also it's just it being in that energy is so sort of transformational. I literally spend the entire weekend in tears because people have these magical experiences. I'm just so happy that I can, be a part of that and just kind of, facilitate that for people. I know I gush about it, but I can't help it.
You should be proud of it. How did you get involved with this?
I have not been working on it for 23 years. I have been going. I used to be just an attendee for years. I went every year. And every year when I went, I was like, how come I don't work here? Like, I should totally work here. I come from a TV production background. I worked in TV production for years, forever. And then during the pandemic, I was not doing that. And I started working for a company, an amazing company that was doing these really super cool live streams and all these haunted locations all over the country, which those are a ton of other stories that I'd love to tell you another time because that was super fun. But we had to, the expo went for 1 year, everything was shut down and we had to do a live stream. So we got to actually do the live stream for the expo. And that's when I kind of got associated with the people, you know, the owner and, you know, the CEO of the company. And that's when I started working for them. And, you know, now 4 years later, it's I think where I was always meant to be.
We talk about this on here a lot, which is that if we envision it and we see it and we tell our brain that it is so, that it can become so. Was that the case for you on any spiritual level, on any energy level, or was it just holy crap, this makes the most sense kind of level?
You know, I totally agree with you. I think, you know, our lives build in a way that we sort of our subconscious or our guides or whatever you want to call us guides us in a way to find the things when we need them and want them. And I think, I don't think I would have had the same experience had I started working for the expo, you know, 20 years ago when I was going as an attendee. It wouldn't have been the same. I had to get to a certain place in my life with different experiences to be able to move into this experience. So it's been with me for all the years. It just took that long to kind of find myself ready to move into this role. I don't know. Does that make sense?
I think so. I mean, you were open to it, right? I mean, it was your manifestation, and then it happened. We have a holiday gift, you and I, to open right now and tell our listeners, and I'm going to let you open the gift. You open it. Go ahead. Tell them.
Well, this year in 2025, we're super excited because it's the very first time that we are going to have a whole room dedicated to live podcasting. And guess who's going to be there Sunday, September 9th at 9:30 to 10:30?
I don't know. Tell them.
World Gone Good is going to be there. And it's super exciting. This will be, Steve will be there live and in person, doing his podcast from our expo. And you'll get to go in and have little headphones. You'll put headphones on and they're cordless and you get to sit there and be in the same room with Steve as he records his podcast, which is super exciting.
It's so crazy. We have never done anything like this before, and we are so excited to do it. And I'm a little nervous because it's a new thing, and I got to show up and just be present and let it happen. And I'd like to point out that this all happened because of wine tasting. This came up when we were drinking wine.
I think everything good comes from wine tasting and nothing bad ever. That's what I say.
It's holiday cheer. That is what it is.
Totally agree.
I'm super excited to be part of this, and we're going to be there in February on that Sunday, the 9th at 9:30 in the morning. I will be there. We're going to live make in front of an audience, which I've never done before, record an actual episode of this show. We're going to be interviewing one of or two of, I don't know how many yet, speakers and presenters and people at the expo. And then on top of that, as Christine's already given me permission to do, I'm going to move around the expo once we're done with that. And I'm going to record as much as I can with other people there and get like lots of stories and cool things like that. But also coming up before that, next month in January, you and I, Christine, are going to work on this. We're going to get a guest or two or three to come on the show and talk about themselves to help more people understand what this is all about and get more people to the expo, because I'm super excited about this. So that is something you and I have to discuss as well.
Yes, totally. And I'm really excited about that too. And I think I have a couple of people in mind for you already for the pre-interviews. And then I think people are really going to enjoy it. Even if they live far away and they can't come in person, they totally can listen to you and listen to the people that, at least meet a few people along the way.
And the expo is February 7th to the 10th, 2025. What is the website for people to go to?
It's www.consciouslifeexpo.com.
I always say this. I always make fun of people who are 55 plus, and you might not be 55 plus because they begin with www dot.
It's important. What if someone didn't put that in? What happens? Who knows? Where would they end up?
We're going to switch holiday gears here to welcome our final guest. A few weeks back, World Gone Good producer Lisa sent me a text about this guy saying we gotta have him on. His name, Kevin Ford. And he is famous, well, internet famous, because after he received a low-cost gift bag from his company for working 27 years without taking a single day off. Well, hold on, let me help you out here before going any further. Let me repeat that last part. 27 years, not a single day off. A lot of people saw what he got, the anniversary gift, and said they thought he deserved a little bit more for his dedication. So his daughter creates a GoFundMe account with the goal of raising $200. Now we're going to let Kevin tell us what the rest of the story is and what happened, but rest assured, if you have been bah humbugging your way through this holiday season, you may experience a Grinch-level change of heart when you hear this. This is our 5th annual Holidays Gone Good, and we are talking the season, and sometimes in the season there's a Christmas miracle, and you know a little something about that, but I want to start in a very interesting place. Here's a miracle. You haven't missed a day of work in how many years?
It's like close to 30. It's 29 now, but I went 27 and then I missed one day because they flew me to New York to be on the Today Show.
How is it humanly possible that you didn't miss a day of work? One day you've missed in 30 years.
I really don't know myself. That's a miracle in itself. I think it's power bills and kids wanting to eat.
Was this something instilled in you by your parents? A work ethic?
Yeah. My dad, that's the reason we were even in Vegas, because he was in the Air Force. He was stationed at Nellis Air Force Base, and he was constantly going out there. This guy's like a genius. He's electronic technician, so he was always flying, going out to work on the airplanes and different things to tack in. And my mom, she was the real worker. She raised all the kids. She had 7 kids. So,
wow.
Yeah, it was instilled in me. It's like in my genes, just working hard and never stopping.
It's amazing. Now let's tell everybody what it is and why the other miracle that so many people want to take a selfie with you. You started did you do it or your daughter did it? You started a GoFundMe to see your grandkids.
My company gave me a goodie bag, and they recruit, want people to come and work for them. So they encourage us to do videos and to do like, hey, we're happy in the kitchen type things, and we're working. And so they gave me this goodie bag, and I was grateful for it. And I was thanking people on the video, thanking HMS for giving me, and I was showing what was in the bag. I guess people didn't think that was enough. So that's what happened. The people were like, is that all he got for 27 years without ever missing a day? The video went viral, which I didn't know. People were calling me and telling me that on the phone. So they wanted to tip me at that GoFundMe, Kevin, 27 years BK. And my daughter said, that's my dad. I guess she just seen the video and she posted on there, that's my dad. And then people would like prove it. So then when she posted pictures of us both, her and another lady, were like, wow, that's great. And she encouraged my daughter to set up a GoFundMe. And my daughter set it up because I hadn't seen my grandkids for like 4.5 years. And yeah, Serena, my wonderful daughter, set that up. One of my wonderful.
Your favorite daughter.
Yes. Yeah.
Right? The rest are duds. It's all Serena. Just kidding.
That's what I tell her. I try to make each one of them feel like they're my favorite daughter. But yeah, she moved up on the list.
So she set it up for $200.
Yeah.
That's it. And what happened?
That sucker blew up, and it's still going. People still donate to it. It kept going, and oh man, it's actual beautiful miracle. You never hear anything like this, especially for just some random brother that people just wanted to say thank you. the other day, somebody came in to work and shook my hand. I think she was a WNBA player.
Wow.
Gave me $20. And I was like, oh, no. She's like, just take it off to the habit. And I gave it to my coworkers.
Okay, hold on a second. You use the word blowing up. You got to let everybody know what blowing up equates to. What kind of number are you at this point?
I think it's like over $460,000.
Good Lord. That is a Christmas miracle.
That's an everyday miracle. And it is, yeah, it was. And yeah, it's a Christmas miracle. And it's a beautiful thing. It's something that tells everybody and the media and everybody who is down on life and down on each other that we aren't what people tell you we are. We love each other and we're humans. We love to see each other. And I think that's do well. And I think that's what people saw in that video. They saw their dad or their uncle or their brother or themselves working hard and to them not getting the props or the compensation that they should. And they wanted to show through me, show the world what love really is. And I keep telling people they did more than they think they did. They saved my life. They really did.
Did they restore some faith in yourself, faith in humanity?
I hope they did. I know they did in me. But I keep telling people on my TikTok and on Instagram and things like that, hold me up. When people say that this isn't good and the world's going bad and, the race and all this kind of stuff and, people dealing with this election result out here right now, hold me up and tell them that's what we're about.
Yeah.
Look what happened to Kevin Ford. Look at what people can do. Look what love of humanity can do, because this is a miracle. It is an absolute miracle. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing.
Kevin, can I ask how old you are?
I'm 57. Yeah, you can ask.
You're 57 and you're killing it on TikTok, and I'm proud of you.
Yeah. I try to do some inspirational videos and tell people, I love them, because you never hear that. You never hear I love you, and you never hear I'm proud of you. And I try to instill that in them, do a little humor, and I try not to get too political, but I do want people to know what right is right and what's wrong is wrong. And yeah, alternative facts is a oxymoron, and if it's a fact, it's a fact. I just try to tell people, what's right, do what's right, look at what love can do. It can change some person's life forever for the better. Look at what we can do with just loving each other.
Is Serena gonna have the best Christmas ever?
Serena got a big chunk of that money.
She earned it.
She sure did, and she got herself a house, which she was in the process of doing anyway. So I'm gonna try to do whatever I can for Serena and the rest of my daughters and my grandkids. Now I got grandkids. That's just my life now, and I think it's everybody's life. You work not only for yourself so you can eat and move and continue to work and do the things you want to do, but the main thing you do is for your family and your friends. So, yeah, Serena, I hope she's gonna have a great Christmas. She better. She's the best, the absolute best.
You're really providing a very powerful message, and you just said it yourself with the election results and the division in the country, specifically here in the United States. We have listeners all around the world who listen to us, and it's in other places too, I'm sure. But you're providing a come together, a unity, a humanity, just from people seeing your story, hearing your story, and knowing that we can make a difference by noticing other people around us, by supporting other people around us.
Yeah, exactly. The world is a community that we need to acknowledge and hold each other up. And people continue every day to support me and to GoFundMe and just the emails and to hold each other up because we really are the same, and we are one. We should acknowledge the differences, because we're different. Italians, Africans, Americans, we're different. We should acknowledge those differences and relish them. They're not what separates us. They what makes each one of us unique, and what makes us want to love each other. We were a bunch of great people walking around the earth. It would be the most boring place on earth. I'm pretty sure, like Homeboy said, somebody would call somebody a grigger someday because it's just great. But there's a reason to make people different. But all that stuff is stupid. You know what I'm saying? We need to learn, go back to learning to love each other for our differences, and because we're all humans. And that is why I say, hold this story up. Tell people you're not what the media tells you are. We love each other. This money continues to provide for me, but it allowed me to purchase my first home. And the lady next door, her name is Rochelle. She has MS, and I would get, I never really told anybody, but I would buy things for her and her kids and stuff like that. But I think the world and a lot of things had become overwhelming for her. And the people here, I did a little, but I don't want to take no credit for this. They actually came and helped her. They gutted out her house and brought her furniture and did all this stuff. And these are the things that people need to see. They need to see that community thing. But that's not what makes headlines. What makes headlines is bad news. That's all anybody wants to hear. Oh, this guy got shot. This guy did this, or this sucker said this, or Karen did that, or Jimmy did that. It's all BS. What we need to see more is good news, and show the humanity of people, and then that will spread around the world. But at the moment, the only thing that's making news is bad news. So I'm glad that my story touches people and continues to touch people. And I hope that, like you said, it is an inspiration for people to do good and to see that there is a lot of love in each and every one of us, and not all this bad news, man. It's people get paid to separate us, and we need to switch that around where they get paid to unite us and make love profitable instead of hate.
I've asked each of our guests to share a specific gift from childhood, either one that they got or one that they hoped they would get and didn't get. So what were the presents? What were those memories that they remember most, and why?
It's funny that I remember that this was the year that I got Lincoln Logs. Like, that was a big deal. But Lincoln Logs ultimately disappointed you because you could only do so many configurations with the set that came in the little tub. I don't, geez.
Is there one that with your children, a magical Christmas something with your children that you take pride in remembering, that you were like, yep, we nailed it?
Oh yeah. Because we used to have to hide bicycles and large items at other people's houses, people without kids. Like, I had a bike in Burbank hidden at a friend's house until Christmas Eve, and then had to go and get it and bring it up. And the way our house is laid out, the upstairs, when you got to the stairs, you could overlook the living room where our tree was. And the boys weren't allowed. I have three sons. They weren't allowed to go downstairs until mom and dad were awake. But they would wake up at 4:30 or 5 with that Christmas energy and just sit on the top of the stairs and look down and say, "Oh my gosh!" And you can't wrap a bike, so they could see the bike on two different occasions. They're going nuts, like, "I got a bike!" So I'll never forget that. That's like a burned in my brain. Great Christmas moment. Them, not wanting to wake us up, but being at the top of the stairs and knowing that we scored. Like, I pulled it off. Storing the bike at a neighbor's house worked. That's pretty gratifying stuff as a dad with 3 little boys. And I've since looked back. I had all the home videos digitized, and we watch the old Christmases now, and they go through the presents in 5 minutes. You spend, 3 weeks pulling this off, and it's over in an instant.
I have two things that stand out as things I really wanted and I got. One was a Barbie like bathtub and shower that used real water. That was so cool. It was like a Barbie bubble bath, something or other. And it's like a little shower and you put water in it and the water sprays out. I wanted that and I got it. That was pretty sweet. The other one that stands out, this was later when I was a teen. My sister had wanted a leather jacket for Christmas. And I had kind of casually mentioned that I really liked some leather jacket as we were looking for hers. And so on Christmas Day, I remember I'm opening up this gift that she gave me. And I was like, oh no, Mom, this is for Rob. This is for my sister. This isn't for me. And she's like, no, just open it. Just open it. And I'd opened it and it was this amazing, like black leather motorcycle jacket that I totally wanted, but was afraid to ask for because I thought it was too expensive, but she had gotten it for me. And I don't know, I was a teenager and I still have that and it's still amazing.
It's a story of, I'm trying not to cry, but, it wasn't just a gift for me. It was a gift from my brothers and sisters. Like I said, there were 7 of us. I must have been about 4 or 5, but, my dad was the only one working because my mom had some health things going on at the time. And, but he was providing what he could for 7 kids. And you gotta realize this is back in the like 70s. And, so we didn't think we were getting anything for Christmas. There was nothing under that Christmas tree. And my dad was really broke at this time. I know later because he told us and we found out what he had did, but he went to like 7-Eleven or Circle K and bought like big comic books that were, in the toy. You know how 7-Elevens have those little bit of toys and those not even Hot Wheels. They're like 10 cars with wire for wheels and stuff like that. He had bought some of those things. When I think about it now, it probably wasn't more than $20, $20 or $30. But when we came out and there was still nothing under the tree, all of us were standing around and we had this couch and he opened the couch. It was like some kind of flip open couch. And then all the toys were there. And if you ask any of my brothers and sisters, that's still the most memorable Christmas we ever had, is that we had those little comic books to share and coloring books and those little tin toys and pop this and string things. It's still the most memorable Christmas we ever had because we were together, we were safe, we had our mom and dad, and we had love.
I love that.
The number one thing that we had was love, and we had it for each other. And, it still is, as you can see, the most memorable Christmas. And it always will be that I've ever had.
If you're wondering what my most memorable gift was, well, once you finish listening to this episode, scroll back to 1 year ago, where I shared that answer on our 4th annual Holidays Gone Good. Normally, we wrap up our shows with me asking our guests to tell me something good. But for these special episodes, my revised question remains the same. Tell me something holiday good.
I like that during the holidays, for the most part, everybody can forget about their differences, even if it's for a day, and just be a family.
Well, my hope right now for this holiday sounds cliche, but I really, really, really want peace on earth. Please. That's what I hope for this Christmas.
I work in an airport and I see it every day that I work. I see people providing for their families and doing what they have to do to provide for those families. But I do want everyone to remember, when those children are grown, when they're in college, when they're off doing their own thing, they will tell their friends that all I wish was that he was home. All I wish was that she was at the house. Yeah, we have this house. Yeah, we have this and that. But I just wish my dad was at my game. I just wish my mom was there to cook or to take us out or to make something or to be there with us to watch a movie. So in all of the shuffling and in all of the hustle and bustle that you do in your life, I tell everybody, yeah, I've never missed a day of work in 27 years, but do not be like me. Your mental health and your family and the love of humanity and of yourself and your physical health is more important. Take those days off. I don't care if it's you and your cat at the house. If you're tired, if you want to spend the day watching football or ice skating or whatever it is you want to do, call out. Do not be like me. Take that time to be good to yourself and to your family. And that time, which you can never get back, is more important than any dollar amount or anything you will ever have. So don't be like me. Take those days off, spend it with your family, spend it alone, go walking in the woods, eat a chocolate bar, eat popcorn, do whatever it is you want to do. But do not work yourself to death because the man, the corporate, or whatever, whoever you work for, will allow you. They will allow you to work yourself to death. And while you are, they're at home or on some boat chilling with their family. So don't be like me. Take the time off. Your mental health and your physical health and your life with your family and yourself is way more important than anything money could ever buy.
Thank you, Tim, Christine, and Kevin, for sharing your good, merry ways. All of us here at World Gone Good wish you a healthy and happy holiday season. Yes, in that order. Don't get the cold that I'm still fighting off. And a very happy new year. We'll be back in January with brand new episodes and can't wait to share them with you. Until then, be good.